Okay, I'm going to call our village board meeting for February 20th, 2023 to order. Roll call, please.
Nyla Fry,
Here.
Gary Herzberg, Phil Willems,
Here.
Chris Zellner, Aaron Moran,
Here.
Joe Zitzelsberger, Sam Kaufman.
Here. All right, we're a little slow tonight, apparently, with our hears, but we'll be better. All right, next we have confirmation of open meeting compliance, public postings, official notices, and online availability.
And I can confirm that the draft agenda was published in the Waunakee Tribune on 2/17. The final agenda was made, was posted in all three official posting locations on 2/17. And the final agenda and packet were made available online on 2/17. Just two notes, if you're in the audience, if you could sign in on the sign-in sheet with your name, address, and municipality for accurate record keeping. And those interested in public comment, please give me the forms prior to the agenda item.
Okay, thank you. First item we have is public comment. Is there anyone here who'd like to make any comments to the board on any item that's on or off the agenda? Any forms turned in or anything? No? All right, I see no hands up, so we will move on.
And Chris, quick pause for attendees. We do have one attendee. That's Mike Lawton. Jerry and Don, just so you know, he's on. Mike, if you care to participate at all, just click the raise hand button and we'll bring you in as necessary. And I assume you don't have any general public comments, Mike.
All right, thanks, Todd. Next item we have is consent agenda. Consent agenda. Would anybody like anything pulled or look for a motion?
I move to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda.
Motion by Nyla Fry, second by Sam Kaufman. Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, under license and permits, discuss and take action on original alcohol beverage license application for Bradley Straw, MBB Ventures, Inc., DBA Par Bar Indoor Golf.
I can take this one. This is just another change in ownership of the Par Bar and regular liquor license coming. It's not a regular, it's a reserve Class B liquor license that's come before you.
Okay, do we have any motions or questions?
I make a motion, we grant an original alcohol beverage license application for Bradley Straw, MBB Ventures LLC, doing business as Par Bar Indoor Golf, located at 350 North Century Avenue. The Smart Bar area is approximately 3,000 square feet, subject to possession of a current seller's permit, payment of outstanding liquor bills, and payment of all outstanding bills or monies owed to village.
Okay, we have a motion by Phil Williams,
I'll second.
second by Aaron Moran. Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. First item under business items, discuss and take action on 2023, 2027 comprehensive bicycle, pedestrian, and outdoor recreation plan. Who do we have introducing?
I will do that, Chair Zellner. This item is the adoption of the 2023 to 2027 comprehensive bike, ped, and outdoor recreation plan. The village has been working with the town of Westport on this. I'm going to turn it over at this time to our planning consultant, Emily Soderberg from MSA, who has guided the both communities through the process.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me into your meeting in your community. As Tim said, my name is Emily Soderberg and I'm an assistant planner with MSA. You can go to the next slide. So to just briefly overview the purpose of comprehensive outdoor recreation plans, these are 5+ year plans that are used primarily to guide the kind of annual budget capital improvement planning for municipal park and recreation systems. They're also a great opportunity to set big picture goals and objectives and recommended improvements on a system-wide basis as well as an individual park basis in order for the improvement of parks and recs. Additionally, they're very key in the state of Wisconsin for maintaining eligibility for certain key state and local grants. So an important one being the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Grant. The DNR requires that you have a corp and that it's updated every 5 years. Next. So this update of the joint Waunakee Westport plan kicked off last May. And over the course of roughly the past year, we held numerous public engagement activities, a public survey, and developed the plan over the last kind of months of 2022. Next slide. This is just a brief overview of the main sections of the plan. There's an inventory of the Parks and Rec system, an analysis of needs and demands, which is done on kind of a qualitative, quantitative, and geographic basis. And then chapter 6 is the recommendations. And then chapter 7 goes through implementation and includes a capital improvement plan. Next. This is an overview of the quantitative analysis that was conducted on the behalf of the plan. So a key metric that's kind of set by the National Recreation and Parks Association is the standard of acres of parkland per 1,000 residents. So in Waunakee, there is a standard that is set that the village is at a minimum going to provide 15 acres per 1,000 residents. Right now, the village is exceeding that with a rate of 26.7 acres of parkland per 1,000. And Westport recently with their acquisition of, I believe it's called the Westport Conservancy, their rate per 1,000 jumped pretty high to 51.6. And both communities are well above the median and upper quartile nationally for communities of a similar size. And that comparison data is provided by the National Recreation and Parks Association as well. And based off of that minimum standard of 15 acres per 1,000, the Waunakee, the village is in good shape through 2040 to be supplying a surplus of parkland based off of that minimum standard. Next. This is part of the geographic analysis that was conducted on part of the plan. So this kind of green wonky shape on that map is basically, if you imagine a 15-minute walk radius drawn around every village and town park, that kind of shows where within the two communities a resident can easily access a park within about a 10-minute walk. And as you can see, Waunakee is very well served by parks within close proximity of where people are living. Next. This is a summary of some of the key results of the survey that we did. Nearly 1,000 people responded to the survey, about 74% lived in the village. Some of the most popular responses for desired new amenities were off-road biking and walking trails, an outdoor pool, more canoe and kayak facilities, restrooms, and an indoor pool. It's also worth noting that the village held a referendum last fall, as I'm sure you're all aware, and the results of this survey, which predated the referendum, ended up kind of matching the results of that referendum with 39% of survey respondents saying that they desired a new outdoor pool, with the referendum's results basically being on par with 40% voting in favor of that aquatic center. Next. Oh, never mind. I got confused for a second. This is a map of the undeveloped and potential parks, kind of thinking ahead towards new facilities that might be built in the town or the village. This map was developed in collaboration with village staff, and the blue triangles denote potential theoretical kind of park locations. Next. And that kind of concludes the high-level summary of the plan. And then I also just want to refer back that we did receive a public comment at the public hearing that was held a little over a week ago, and I just wanted to take a moment to respond to it. It was in regards to a cost estimate that's provided for one of the recommendations in the plan for extending a trail to Mill Road. We just want to reiterate that all of the cost estimates, including in this plan as well as that one, are very, very high level and are meant to be preliminary cost estimates. And I would ask the board that if you would prefer us to adopt the plan, or if you would recommend adoption with the adjustment of the more recent update that we have for that particular project that was provided by Strand, we are willing, or I would be happy to make that adjustment for that cost amendment if you find it appropriate. Since basically the cost estimates included in the plan, in the comprehensive plan, are meant to be very high level and preliminary, it is nice in this particular instance that we have that more detailed cost estimation. We'd be happy to replace it. So with that, I'm happy to field any of your questions.
Board members, questions? Sam, we'll start with you.
I don't have a whole lot of questions. I think it'd be good to correct that figure just because there is a big difference between, $68,000 and 2.1 million. And, since we have the number, we might as well put it in there.
Nyla?
I agree with Sam, but I would like to thank all of the staff that worked on this. I know it's a long project and it's a lot of work, and I thank you for that. But I do would like to see the 2.1 million put in, just so we have the information as updated as possible.
Joe?
I would agree. I'd like to see the 2.1 million in, but I'd like a little bit of clarification on that rather than simply replacing. I feel like the 2.1 million was a much larger project than probably just extending that path. So if we can clarify that, that'd be great.
Sure, clarify the language in the recommendation.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Bill?
I like the plan and the 2.1 million. I think that came up because of all the bridging that we're gonna have to do and et cetera. And I know that's not enough clarification, but it's the bridging that we have to do and the final step to get up to the road level at the end. But it's a good plan.
Aaron?
I'm good with the change and the update, and thanks to everyone that worked on it and for your presentation.
So Mike, I'm in agreement with everybody here to have that number put in. I think the type of path we would put in too is also a big difference in where our cost estimates are going to be in there. So that might want to be part of that. Whether
Sure.
we have a boardwalk versus pebble pea gravel versus all different things versus paved, that makes a big difference. So I just had a couple of questions and maybe you'll know the answers, maybe you won't. And this was in regards to the Westport. You were saying how Westport's by the purchasing that property, there's went up substantially. Where were they before that? Just out of my own curiosity.
They were nearly on par. I think it was, I think Waunakee was 26.6 and Westport was like 26.3. It was nearly on par.
Okay, and does their figure also include the state park,
No.
Governor Nelson? No.
That recent acquisition was very large. I believe it was over 100 acres. So I think it almost doubled their total park acreage. So that's the
But what I'm
reason.
asking is does their total include Governor Nelson State Park as part of their parks?
No,
No.
the only parks they're included in that analysis are town or village owned parks.
Perfect, thank you. And within ours, are there any parts of our village that are not served? I know you talked about the walk, I think 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever that was. Are there any parts of our village currently not served?
According to our analysis, there weren't really any obvious glaring gaps. The shape, that kind of green shape, pretty much encompassed nearly the boundary of the entire village. But no, for the most part, that analysis showed that geographically, the parks are pretty well distributed throughout the community.
Perfect, thank you. So we'd be looking for a recommendation or a motion, I should say.
I make a motion to approve the 2023-27 Waunakee Westport Comprehensive Bicycle, Pedestrian and Outdoor Recreation Plan.
Motion by Phil Willems,
I'll second it.
second by Nyla Fry. Any other comments? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have discuss and take action on the purchase of 10 new AEDs. Chief Kreitzman looks like he is going to be presenting.
I am ready. Just a little background information on the AEDs that we currently have. They were purchased in 2014. Shortly after we received them and used them a couple times, what we realized is that the unit that we had purchased operates on one single battery. So as soon as it's hooked up and it analyzes a patient, that battery is now shot essentially, and you need to buy a replacement battery and a replacement set of pads. This is not ideal for law enforcement or any type of frequent use. I think these machines were literally meant for more of like a station, like a regular building that just wants to have one just in case. So not ideal for us. I think we got some bad advice in 2014. As we fast forward and we're still using them, we've just paid the extra cost to replace the batteries and the pads on our basis as needed. At the end of last year, we put an order in to resupply our stock of batteries and pads, and it's been on back order ever since. We are down to one extra set. So we have a set on every unit, and then we have one extra set. And when we checked recently, I don't know why they didn't tell us originally, they had mentioned a problem with the adhesive in the pads, and they needed to redo that, which essentially needed FDA approval. They have no timeline for the replacement on when that will happen or when these orders will be filled. Additionally, the units that we have are no longer being manufactured, and there's a lot of unknowns about when this would happen and when it would be filled, which obviously leaves us in a very challenging place as our supply runs out, which is why I'm here unexpectedly today. So we did research another unit. The one that we are asking to purchase is called the Life Pack 1000. The battery lasts for about 200 shocks. So this is a separate battery from the pad. The pads themselves are $47 versus $90 on the old unit. They're readily available, and it's a different company, not using the same adhesive as the problem ones. And they're still compatible with Waunakee EMS equipment, which is a big thing as well. You know, if we're getting there first and we're hooking somebody up to an AED, when EMS gets there, we want to just be able to unplug and plug into their system so they can go as quickly as they can as needed. So this quote in front of you and what we're asking today is for $23,000. It's $23,258.30 of ARPA money to replace 10 AED units and purchase some extra pads to have in stock. And then as part of that, we would be selling back our outdated units to that company, which will save us, I think it was right around $2,500.
Okay, I've got several questions on this one.
Yes.
None of which are probably going to be fun questions, is my guess.
Okay.
Within here. So the originals were purchased in what year?
2014.
And did they have a warranty, or were they supposed to last for what time frame were we supposed to have them lasting for?
I don't know that exactly. I'd have to look back at the capital budget. I think I have them as in a replacement for 2030, but don't quote me on that, to replace them completely. The machines themselves still function properly. I don't think they're the best, again, for what we're using them for. They still function properly if we are able to get the equipment needed to use them. That's the uncertainty part.
Do we know what their costs were like in 2014?
I do not.
Okay. When you purchased the pads, what did you say the cost was for the pads for the old versus the new?
Yep. So in the old version, you had to buy, they don't sell the pads separate from the battery. You have to buy them together, because every time you open the pad and you hook up a battery, the life expectancy is over. So on the old units, it was $90 to replace both of them. So think of any time somebody were to overdose or anything like that, and they're having breathing issues, we're getting that equipment on as quickly as we can. Thankfully, Waunakee EMS is very, very quick to response, but there's still plenty of times where we're much closer than them because we're already in the field and on the road. And the new pad, or the new pads now, will be $47.
So two final questions then, for me.
Yep.
The trade-in value, do we know what, you didn't know what the original price was, so I'm curious why the trade-in value where we settled at 2,500 for what they would give us.
They're offering to give us $250 per unit. And that was what the company offered. We had contacted, when we first were realizing that we ran out, we went through our original vendor. We checked all other vendors that would maybe carry those pads to see if there was a stock that would get us through. And nobody has them. They all say manufacturer delay. And that's where we learned of the adhesive issue.
All right, so you just added one question. So is the manufacturer pretty much not making them anymore?
They are no longer being made or serviced, essentially. Where if you go back to like our radios right now, we're in a 3 or 4 year replacement schedule on our radios that we use in our everyday duties. And that is for the same exact reasons. They're no longer serviceable. That model is no longer serviceable by Motorola. So if something's wrong with the radio, it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to fix it. And that's why we're in that replacement schedule. That's what they're basically telling us with this model. The model itself, the machine, if it were to malfunction, is not being serviced by the company anymore. I don't know the time frame of when the product itself was rolled out to be purchased versus when Waunakee Police Department purchased them. I don't know the difference in that.
Okay, and are the new machines better?
We
Just
believe
better.
so. Yeah, we have one right now. We added a squad to our fleet, I think it was last year, or the year before, worked with EMS on a different unit because we weren't happy with this AED. And this is what they led us to. And so far it's been great.
All right, well, one last one.
Yep.
How many of these are out there and available? How many different companies manufacture something like this?
That is a great question. I should have brought my lieutenant with me that did all the research for me, but I don't know.
Okay.
I know the connectivity to EMS's thing has always been a big thing. We want to be able to not have to get another set of pads out and rehook up a bunch of equipment. We want to be able to unplug and plug into their equipment so that they can do their thing immediately.
It just brings me to why this company is this the best price? Is this the best product? Or where are we at with it? That's what I don't know
Sure.
from anything here.
We could have, this same unit we can get from another vendor. It would be more expensive. This is the best price that we could get. We actually reconfirmed this today with Scott at EMS, who just ordered 4 of these units that we're trying to buy right now. These are the same ones that he's buying for whatever he's using them for. So we think this is the best place to be.
Good. Nyla?
Renee, how much is in the fund currently, the balance?
In the ARPA fund?
Yes.
So including things that have already been conceptually approved, using this, or if we used it for this, we would be left with $254,000 in the ARPA.
Thank you. That's it.
But just keeping in mind that the upper level of the old library has not gone through the process. So I believe that's kind of a tentative plan for some of that use.
Bill?
I agree with the machine because being able to unplug and plug into EMS is very fast, and they use the same pad too. So if you ran out, they could replenish your stock of pads, right?
I don't know if it's the same pad. I just know they're compatible. But we have assured, with the vendor has assured us there are no pad issues with this company and this brand.
Perfect.
Aaron?
I just looked it up. It had 5-year manufacturer warranties in 2014, so we'll see. But I think AEDs are very important. That's something really personal to me and my family. And I'm glad that we're being proactive with this. Is there anywhere like the stationary ones, instead of trading them in, like would be useful around the village that we need another AED? I just don't know if we.
That part I don't know. All I know is right now the pads and the batteries. I mean, that would be the hard part, is if we went through a bunch of those in this meantime, where you would get those to be able to do that. But I understand where you're coming from. I guess the other part is too, this product right now, one of the reasons that we're here right now is if we put this order in tomorrow, it's up to a 20-week wait in order to get these machines that we're ordering. We did talk to the company as well. If we started to run low, we would pull from our non-primary patrol vehicles, obviously. But they would also send us some temporary units that we could use in the meantime, which is also a benefit should we run out. There's obviously no way to predict how much we're going to use them between now and then.
I just don't know with like, if we had any places like that should have one that don't, I guess right now. So, but I'm good with it.
Okay, Joe?
Does this replace all of the old units?
It does. So we have 11 total. The one we bought brand new last year is this new model already. This is the 10 old units that we have left.
Okay, that's all.
Sam?
No questions. Everybody else already covered what I was going to say.
Well, it sounds like these are more like a, I don't know, 8-track tape that we had, and now we're going back up to current technology with them. So I'm going to make the motion to recommend to approve the purchase agreement with Stryker Emergency Care for 10 new AEDs and 6 additional pad sets. Should it say anything in there about us using ARPA funds or not? Doesn't need to. Okay, so that's my motion.
I'll
Second.
second. Oh, you can have.
I'm gonna go with ladies first on that one. You were close. So I'm gonna say second by Aaron Moran. Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next we have discussion and recommendation on a request by Dalmatian Farms LLC for expansion of the urban service area to include 40 acres of land adjacent to and south of the intermediate school on Woodland Drive. Tim?
Thanks, Chair Zellner. Yes, this is a request by Dalmatian Farms to expand the village's urban service area, which is shown on the screen in pink, by 40 acres, and those 40 acres are shown in orange. The land's located south of the intermediate school off of Woodland. So the action really, what will come of this is directing staff to make an application to the Regional Plan Commission for the expansion for this 40 acres. And it's really, I guess, that simple. it is anticipated that this 40 acres will eventually become part of the Kilkenny West development, but the plating and zoning and so forth will come before this body before that happens. So for now, just the urban service area amendment expansion.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Questions, Joe?
Nothing.
Aaron?
No.
Bill?
Nothing.
Nyla?
No,
Sam? So we have no questions. So I'd look for a motion or one way or the other.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing submission of an urban service area amendment to CARPC.
Motion by Sam Kaufman,
Second.
second by Phil Willems. Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we have discuss and take action on resolution awarding the bid for the 2023 Public Works Improvement Project, Patrick Avenue. And I saw Bill stood up to go to the spot. So
We're here.
go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, before you is our bid tallies from the Patrick Street project this year. As you'll see, the lowest bid was $1,321,940 or 34,000. We're asking for approval of low bid. It did come in slightly more than what we projected. But we feel we'll be able to make up that difference through our other road projects.
Nyla, I think you can chair this committee. Any comments from there or anything you'd like to say?
the committee was happy that the bids came in where they did and that we can do the improvements that are necessary on Patrick Avenue.
Bill, any questions, comments? Aaron?
No, I'm just excited this road is on our slate for the.
Joe?
Patrick Avenue has needed it for a while, so it's good that we can finally get there.
Sam?
No questions, but we're gonna have some happy neighbors when this project is done.
I agree. Sometimes during the project, they're not as happy, but once it's done, they will be happy with that. I noted that you did say that some adjustments need to be made as far as the budget. Is there anything that's going to need to be removed?
At this point, we're just gonna scale back what was it? It's the pavement rehabilitation portion that we'll be bringing to the board next month. Those are currently out for bids, so depending on how those turn out, we'll either make a modifications or we may be good.
Perfect. All right, look for a motion.
Motion to approve resolution awarding the bid to Northwest Stone from $1,321,934.05.
I'll second.
Motion by Phil Williams, second by Aaron Moran. Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thanks, Bill. Next, we have discuss and take action on state municipal financial agreement with Wisconsin DOT for State Highway 19 project in 2026. And looks like you're staying at the podium.
Yeah, this year's in 2026, the DOT is looking to do some work on 19 from River Road to Division Street. And part of that project is we're looking to make some improvements to the Division Street intersection with a left turn lane. And so they're willing to widen the road to include that turn lane with some pavement markings and obviously some programming of the street lights. And our cost for that is this $32,000.
Sam, any questions, comments?
No questions.
Joe?
No, I did attend the session that they had at the library. I think it was last summer sometime. And it looked good at that point.
Aaron?
No.
Phil?
No questions.
Nyla?
No questions.
I'm
Oh.
good too.
I'll move to approve the state municipal financial agreement for State Highway 19 project.
I'll second it.
2026.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No
I'll second
problem.
it.
Motion by Joe Zutzelberg, second by Nyla Fry. Any other comments? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we have discuss and take action on administrator review, compensation and benefit adjustments. Do I read right away? The village board may convene in closed session as authorized by Wisconsin statute 19.851C for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The village board may reconvene in open session to discuss and take action on the subject matter discussed in closed session. So I'd need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make the motion that the village board convene in closed session.
Motion by Sam Kaufman,
I'll second it.
second by Nyla Fry. Roll call vote, please.
Nyla Fry,
Yes.
Gary Hersberg. Sorry, Phil Willems,
Yes.
Chris Zellner,
Yes.
Aaron Moran,
Yes.
Joe Zisselsberger,
Yes.
Sam Kaufman.
Yes.
And I would note for those who may be watching the recording, we're live now. I expect that we'll be ending the recording of our meeting and the broadcast at this moment. If the board does come back into open session, actions they take will be reflected in the official minutes.